Have you ever wondered if those who have diabetes or that condition that comes before, prediabetes, can even eat fruit? And more. Which ones are good and which ones can play a trick on your glucose? That's exactly what we're going to talk about now. I'm going to give you a list of 10 fruits that are friendly to your metabolism and 5 others that deserve your full attention, because they can be insidious if you're not careful. Before we get down to business, if you're just arriving, how about signing up here? That way you don't miss any guidance that can make a difference in your daily life. And if you know someone who also experiences this challenge of controlling their blood sugar, share this conversation. The more people have access to quality information, the better. I want to know from you, have you ever been diagnosed with diabetes or prediabetes? Are you afraid to touch a fruit because of your blood glucose? And what state of Brazil are you writing from? Tell me in the comments. Let's move on. Diabetes has earned a place on an unpleasant list of the World Health Organization, that of the diseases that kill the most on the planet. Here in Brazil, it is second only to high blood pressure and obesity among the most common chronic diseases. There are more than 15 million Brazilians living with this problem. And speaking of obesity, it's the strongest push for someone to develop type 2 diabetes. And Brazilians, unfortunately, have been gaining weight. Given this, we need to know what to put on the plate. That's why this conversation is so important. The question that does not want to be silenced: can a person with diabetes eat fruit? It can, and more than it can, it should, but in a different way from those who don't have this condition. Those who don't have diabetes can eat fruit at will, even live on fruit alone, and still lead a healthy life. Now, those who have diabetes, because they cannot process sugar in the same way, need limits. Limit is the watchword here. Contrary to what many people repeat out there, fruit has a guaranteed place on the menu of those who have diabetes or prediabetes, but always in moderation. Why? Because the fruit brings fructose, which is its natural sugar, and your body will transform this into glucose. But along with fructose come the fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants that your body needs to function well. And I'm not saying it. Hundreds of studies done with large populations have shown that those who eat more fruit are less likely to have high blood pressure, stroke, heart attack, cancer, and obesity. The fibers in fruits also help bring down cholesterol, prevent those insulin spikes, and improve bowel function, ending constipation. So are carbohydrates in fruit bad for diabetics? When you put it on the scale, no. If you exchange a fruit for a dessert, even if it is light, or for bread, cookies, those bakery snacks, the exchange will never be advantageous. Fruits and vegetables are the basis of the 2 diets that have been voted the healthiest of the last 10 years, the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. Staying away from fruit is a costly mistake for your own health. Never forget, make food your medicine. So what are the most suitable fruits for those with diabetes? When you choose a fruit, you need to pay attention to 2 things. The first is the glycemic index. It shows you how much your blood sugar will rise after you eat that food. If the fruit has a high glycemic index, your glucose suddenly skyrockets. It peaks, the pancreas throws insulin out, and then you can even have a sudden drop, a hypoglycemia. Now, if you choose a fruit with a low glycemic index, the glucose rises slowly, without peaking, without forcing the pancreas, and without that bounce later. According to the American Diabetes Association, the classification is as follows: low index up to 55, moderate from 56 to 69, and high from 70. The second tool is the glycemic load. It takes into account not only the glycemic index, but also the amount of carbohydrate per serving. Therefore, the glycemic load gives a more real idea of the impact on daily life. It is divided into low from 0 to 10, moderate from 11 to 19, and high from 20. I'm going to talk about the best fruits for you who are diabetic, taking into account these 2 numbers. But if that fruit you like the most has a moderate or high glycemic index, what to do? You limit the other carbohydrates of the day, reduce rice, pasta, bread. As I said, the exchange is worth it. And of course, don't overdo it. Let's go to the 10 fruits that diabetics can eat peacefully. In 10th position, peach. Its glycemic index is 42, and the glycemic load is 5. Peach is full of vitamins, minerals, and plant substances that are good for you. You can put it in salads. It helps make the skin more beautiful, reduces allergies and improves digestion. In ninth position, the orange. Glycemic index 40 and glycemic load 5. Orange is one of the most well-known fruits in the world, tasty and nutritious. It is an excellent source of vitamin C and also brings other vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Because it is citrus, it also decreases the risk of kidney stones. But be careful, eat the fruit, don't make orange juice. Orange juice has a lot of calories, loses fiber, and causes a glucose spike because you ingest the load of several oranges at once. It's one thing to eat slowly, chew the bagasse, swallow. Another is to drink the juice. In eighth position, strawberries. Glycemic index 42 and glycemic load 3. A cup of strawberries has more vitamin C than an orange. In addition, strawberries are the fruit with the most phycetine, a flavonoid similar to the resveratrol in grapes. Recent studies have linked phycetine to a lower risk of cancer and a slowing down of aging, thanks to its senolytic effect, which eliminates senescent cells, those zombie cells that inflame the body. Of course, more research is still needed to confirm this, but in the meantime, it may increase strawberry consumption. In seventh position, the plum. Glycemic index 40 and glycemic load 2 when it is fresh plum. If it is prune, the glycemic load rises to 9. Prunes improve the intestine because they are rich in fiber. It contains adiponectin, a substance that makes the liver and muscles more sensitive to insulin, in addition to being anti-inflammatory and protecting the heart. There are studies linking prune consumption to a lower risk of osteoporosis. If you are a woman and thin, increase your intake of prunes. In sixth position, pear. Glycemic index 38 and glycemic load 4. They're even healthier with the peel, which provides more than 20% of the fiber you need in the day. Pears are very nutritious, and you can find several types in the supermarket. Williams, Portuguese, pear. Pear also promotes gut health because of the fiber, is associated with a lower risk of diabetes, and may aid in weight loss. In fifth position, passion fruit. Glycemic index 27 and glycemic load 5. Passion fruit is interesting because it calms anxiety, improves sleep. Some research suggests that a substance found in passion fruit seeds, called phycetanyl, may improve insulin sensitivity. But no sweetener, which can harm the intestinal flora, nor sugar, nor honey. Eat it plain. In fourth position, the apple. Glycemic index 39 and glycemic load 5. Apples, in addition to vitamins and minerals, have prebiotic effects. That is, they feed the good bacteria in your intestine. That's why it protects against obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. And of course, like the pear, you should eat it with the peel, which will give 20% of the daily fiber. Now my top 3. Pay attention. Thirdly, guava. Glycemic index only 23 and glycemic load of only 2. Guava has lycopene, quercetin, vitamin C, and other polyphenols that act as powerful antioxidants, neutralizing free radicals in your body. Lycopene is good for the prostate, and the fibers in guava help the intestine function better. Secondly, avocado. Glycemic index 10 and glycemic load 3. Avocado could easily be in first place. It is rich in monounsaturated fats, which increase good cholesterol and decrease bad cholesterol. It can improve insulin resistance and reduce the risk of metabolic syndrome. The only problem is that it has a lot of calories. And calories make you fat. If you eat too much avocado, even though it's one of the healthiest fruits out there, you'll gain weight, and weight gain will worsen your blood glucose. First of all, the cherry. Glycemic index 20 and glycemic load 6. Cherries are rich in potassium and antioxidants. Towards the end of the year, they appear in supermarkets. Too bad they are expensive. In addition to vitamins and antioxidants, cherries can improve your sleep because they contain melatonin, a very important hormone. Now, what are the 5 fruits that you, if you have diabetes, should avoid or eat very carefully? The first is the grape. The glycemic index of grapes is 53 and the glycemic load is 7. Grapes bring resveratrol, which is good for the skin and aging, have potassium that helps control pressure, and can help eliminate uric acid. But you need to take it easy if you have diabetes. The second is the mango. Glycemic index 56 and glycemic load 13. It is similar to orange. Although mango has many vitamins, is tasty, smells good, if you have diabetes, eat a very small portion. The third is pineapple, glycemic index 66 and glycemic load 12. Pineapple can reduce arthritis symptoms, boost immunity, decrease inflammation, and aid recovery after heavy exercise. But as the glycemic index is high, eat little or avoid it. The fourth is bananas, glycemic index 62 and glycemic load 16. I'm not telling you to stop eating bananas. Eat half a banana. We know that bananas are rich in potassium, so if you have high blood pressure, it will help control your blood pressure. And lastly, the fifth is watermelon. Glycemic index 72, which places it as having a high glycemic index, and glycemic load 7. Watermelon hydrates, has a lot of potassium and many advantages of fruits. But those who have diabetes better reduce portions. The same goes for melon, which has similar glycemic values. You may be thinking, wow, precisely the fruits I like the most have a high glycemic index. It gives a certain sadness, doesn't it? But calm down. Can you eat fruits with a high glycemic index? Yes, it can. However, you must limit. This means reducing portions or decreasing the other carbohydrates of the day to make room, or even increasing your physical activity, exercising more so you can savor the pleasures of life without guilt. Some things are important to reinforce. Do not make juices because they reduce fiber and the fruit load is very large. Do not buy ready-made fruit juices at the supermarket, especially those in boxes, thinking they are healthy. They are not. These will increase your glucose and the fat in your liver. And avoid dried fruits, such as raisins and dates. When you take the water out of the fruit, the sugar becomes more concentrated, so small portions can make your glucose rise a lot. The message I want to leave with you is this: eat the fruits you like. If you like watermelon, mango, you don't have to stop, but eat little. If you like cherries, which are one of the ideal fruits for diabetics, you can eat a little more. And try to eat fruits of varying colors. Why colors? Because each color brings different phytonutrients. Vary and rotate the fruits. No fruit needs to be cut completely from your diet. Some you can eat more, others less. But the ideal is to eat a little bit of everything. Very restrictive diets usually have a rebound effect. You start having cravings, you will dream about the watermelon, you may end up overdoing it and then regret it. The ideal always is moderation. If you enjoyed this conversation, remember to share it so that more people have access to this knowledge. And what's going to be the next video you're going to watch? Here are 2 suggestions. A video about the signs that you may have prediabetes, where I talk about insulin resistance and how to reverse this situation, and another video with 10 benefits that happen when you stop eating sugar. A professional who follows hundreds of cases a year is here to help you. Remember to subscribe to the channel and see you next time. Thank you very much for your company.